Hi everyone, I'm really excited to be spending a little bit of time with Dilia Barboza. Dilia was a student of mine here at the School of General Studies at Columbia University. She had a very successful tenure here, graduated in 2017 with a degree in psychology. She's currently in a bridge to PhD program that's preparing her to submit competitive applications to do doctoral work in psychology. And she was a student of the university studies curriculum, and so she has a little bit of insight, and I was hoping she would share some of that with all of you. Dilia, welcome. It's nice to have you.
Thank you.
Can you just tell us, by way of giving us some context, a little bit about both your service in the United States Armed Forces and then also your transition to school and what that was like?
Of course. So I served in the Marine Corps for 11 years until 2013 when I got out, and I started at Columbia University shortly after that, January of 2014. And I was really excited to be in a new environment, and although I felt a little lost and it took some time, I really found my way and was able to make it out with a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology.
That's awesome. And when you first arrived in this new environment, when you transitioned from a military environment to an academic environment, what were sort of the differences that immediately kind of arrested your attention? What were the things that you weren't expecting that became sort of real right away?
Of course. So after 11 years anywhere, you become kind of part of the furniture. I was very comfortable as a Marine, knew exactly what I needed to do day in and day out. And when I arrived at Columbia University, although familiar with the city, I was completely lost in this amazing, huge campus filled with people that just seemed so busy and so focused on whatever they were doing. And I had no clue what I was doing. So I felt lost. I wasn't sure if anyone else knew how I was feeling or if anyone else out there was transitioning just like me. So that was really tough, because coming from a leadership position in the Marine Corps where you have a team working under you, I was finding it really hard to deal with the feeling of being lost and overwhelmed with not really sure what was going on around me. So that was one of the biggest things. And also not knowing what the process was going to be like, not knowing what to expect about just the academic setting, that lack of information that I was not used to, because in my previous environment I was so comfortable and aware of everything that was going on as I had more control. So that was really the toughest things that I had to deal with while transitioning.
You know, one of the things that I hear a lot is, and I was wondering if you have a thought about this, students talk about exiting this highly structured environment, this directive-oriented environment where their time is largely managed for them, their day is organized, they wake up and they know exactly what they're going to do, exactly when they're going to do it, and then they come to an academic environment and they're given a tremendous amount of autonomy and freedom. And instead of experiencing that as a kind of liberation, they often experience it as sort of disorienting. Does that resonate with you, and do you think that's a pain point for the community?
Most definitely. I was very much in control of the time that I had to manage in the Marine Corps, but at the same time, like you said, it was very structured and standardized, and you have very distinct goals to meet, and you know exactly how to get there. When I got to Columbia University, not knowing what students do with their time off, I assume they study, but how do they study, where do they study, is a very different story of how you actually get it done. And I totally felt like, what do I do with all this time? And that's when I quickly learned that I am the best procrastinator on the planet, which was just another challenge for me.
That's great. So then we turn to the university studies curriculum. We know that these are some of the things that students talk to us about. We built the curriculum for non-traditional students who are transitioning to college, and then created the online curriculum that really focused on veterans. As a veteran yourself, as someone who went through the curriculum on the ground and utilized some of those tools, where for you are the places in the curriculum that are most valuable to a veteran transitioning into school? Where are the places they might pay closest attention, or what are the topics where if they spend some time and energy, those might really bear fruit for them?
Of course. So I was very fortunate to take university studies during my first semester at Columbia University, and that is the first place on campus that I found a support network. I finally felt that the people around me understood what I was feeling with, because perhaps they were experiencing the same thing. And that was very comforting. It was my favorite class my first semester, and that really helped. Till this day, I'm still very close friends with a lot of the students that I took the class with, and they were able to guide me, answer questions, share their network and their knowledge about the process of the academic setting and how they were dealing with it. So that was really comforting and great to be a part of. I also was out of school for a very long time before I got to Columbia University, so learning how to study all over again was very refreshing and definitely needed. Still today, I apply some of the studying skills that I learned from that curriculum, so I'm very grateful to that. And on top of that, this kind of was not taken as seriously, I feel, by other students, but for me, it was groundbreaking information. Just the reminder that you really do need a life-work balance in order to maintain your sanity and be able to achieve this long-term goal that is not a quick race. It's more like a marathon, and you every day need to find a way to take care of yourself, but also chop at all those goals that you need to meet.
Again, Dilia Barboza graduated in 2017 with a degree in psychology from Columbia University. She's preparing to do doctoral work in that field. Dilia, what a pleasure to talk to you, and thank you so much for sharing your experience with us.
Thank you.